So we got a trailer for a Links Awakening Remake a few weeks back, which we didn't get much, but there's actually a lot that we can tell just from that little bit of gameplay we saw. So I'm going to break it all down, I'm going to talk about it, give my opinions on it, my thoughts, and so yeah, let's get into it. As far as music goes, the only thing we really got was, the opening, which is the Link's Awakening theme. Now, I won't really have a big opinion on it until I hear some more of the more memorable songs from the game, from the dungeons and places like, Tall Heights, the actual overworld theme, or even the, general house theme. Those are some of the tracks that I enjoy from the original game, so, for now, it sounds just fine. As far as the sound goes, though, we actually got quite a bit. Hearing Marin singing at the end of the trailer was just magical for me. Take a look at the comparison of the old versus the new version. Although I still love that old chiptune goodness of the classic Game Boy sounds, that new singing just really blew me away. It's like how I would have imagined it as a kid. Hearing that for the first time, that's like what I would imagine her voice to sound like. So it's really awesome that that was part of the trailer. That was such a good way, in my opinion, to end the Nintendo Direct. So we also get some sounds at the beginning of the trailer depicting the storm. The sound's really good, I think. The original was just chiptune again, obviously, so take a listen really quick. I think the original version actually sounds way more menacing and scary, but the new version actually makes you feel like you're in a storm. You hear the waves crash, the lightning just booming, the boat creaking, Link is gasping, trying to survive. So I think they did a great job capturing those original sounds and making it more realistic, although I wish they did keep that main bass line from the original, just so that could have kept some more of those dark undertones, but again, it's just my opinion. Now let's switch over to the gameplay and the mechanics that we can see. So there's actually a lot more that we can infer than you'd think, even though we got actually 30 seconds of gameplay. So we can tell, for one, that you can now at least move diagonally, but it's still basically their grid system. In the very last scene, we see the boss of the first dungeon, and what we can infer from here is that you will probably be able to equip more than one item at a time, which will vastly improve the gameplay experience. In the original, the sword and shield actually both counted as one of the two slots. However, in this boss scene, we can clearly see Link using both his sword and the rock feather, which allows him to jump. But we also still see the shield. We don't actually see him use it, but this makes me think that he has at least 3 items equipped here, and honestly, why wouldn't they fix this? It's one of the major gripes with the game, and it just makes sense now that we have more buttons to use. Now, going along with this, the other interesting thing, and it's actually a question I have to you guys, is what is the other joystick going to do? So generally, the left stick moves the character and the right moves the camera. But in a game like this, it's a 2D Zelda, and it's always been on handheld. There's no camera control from what we've seen in this trailer, which also, again, obviously reflects the original game. And in a game like Pokemon, which was also primarily handheld, when it debuted with Let's Go on Switch, only one Joy-Con is actually used. So they also didn't even utilize that second stick. So it begs the question on what the controls will be like, Are we going to use both sticks? Because again, it's still a top-down and the camera's fixed. So I'm not really sure if they're going to go the same kind of route and maybe you only need one of the Joy-Cons to play it. So what do you guys think on that? I'm actually really curious. Now I want to touch on the story just really quickly. Obviously, this is a 25-year-old game, so we know the story already at this point, but, we know it's a reimagining, so there should be new content. In the Nintendo Direct, Koizumi even said, and I quote, "After 26 years, it has been reborn as a new experience, and we will have more to say in the future." Now, we also know when Link's Awakening was re-released on the Game Boy Color called Link's Awakening DX, this version brought the extra color dungeon. So, will they add more to the story with the Switch version too, or just, more content? We're not really sure yet, but hopefully we'll find out about that soon. What I will say is that if you've never played this game, Link's Awakening is arguably the most lighthearted, happy adventure according to its presentation, but the underlying story is one of the darkest in the series. So if you haven't played it yet, you're in for a real treat. Alright, let's talk art style and presentation. One of the major sticking points of discussion right now about this game is its art style, and I don't want to get too much into this because, for one, it's mostly just an opinion, a preference. If you don't like the graphics, then you don't. But what we can talk about is the technical aspects right now. The game already looks super polished. It's very clean, bright, colorful, and shiny, and I think this adds really well to the lighthearted and cheery adventure of Link's Awakening. And I really love this art style, and I'm excited to see the rest of the game. So what do you guys think? We actually know quite a bit about the game already, just from that short little teaser. It's actually one of my favorite Zelda games, like I said, and I'm glad Nintendo dug way back in the past for an older Zelda game. Breath of the Wild may be some people's first Zelda game, and it's nice that they will get a taste of that old Zelda formula and what made Zelda great from the very beginning. It's a game no one asked for, and yet it's a game I couldn't be more excited about.